Hello, in this video I would like to talk about the nature of public opinion polling and why it is so easy to get the wrong impression of what the majority of people want and desire for the future. Now, this happens because looking at one poll or a select few polls just in one sitting or not taken over enough time, meaning one poll is looked at and then another poll done shortly after is looked at. Doing this is not enough. To get a true, accurate reflection of what people want, you need to look at polls over several years. I will demonstrate how this is done to get a better sense of what people want just by looking at one issue in particular. I will look at the environment. Now, if we take two Pew polls or Pew Research polls, for example, one poll was done from April to May 2020, and the other poll was done in April of 2021. Now, the poll done from April to May 2020 showed that 65% of the respondents thought that the federal government was not doing enough to reduce the effects of climate change. Now, you may think that with 65% of people saying this, that prompt, effective legislation would be passed to better handle this issue. However, if we look at the other poll, which was done most recently, this poll, it was an issues poll, which ranked the top 15 issues based on people's level of perceived importance in dealing with those issues. Now, this poll found that the environment ranked at 10th out of 15th in level of importance, with 40% of people saying that this issue was of strong importance to them. Now, you can see how when you look at either one of these polls, they can give you different impressions. When you look at the oldest poll, as I said before, you would be hard-pressed not to think that many environmental laws will soon be passed to deal with climate change. Conversely, if you look at the most recent poll, you would think to yourself Well, it is not ridiculous to think that environmental legislation of any substantive effect will be passed. Now, this impression from the latest poll is probably most accurate, but it goes to show two things. It shows, one, that when ranked up against other issues, the environment just does not seem to be as important as other top issues. In fact, in the issues polling, the environment, which ranked 10th, was sandwiched between unemployment concerns, which ranked above it, meaning unemployment was more important, and the quality of public schooling ranked just beneath it in its level of importance. Now, the other thing that all this polling shows, when taken as a collective, goes back to what I started the video trying to address. When taken as a whole, these two polls do a great job illustrating that when taken together, polling over several years can be very insightful. You can glean a lot of information from the general trends of polling. These general trends can then be used as a kind of roadmap to future legislative efforts. However, people often get into trouble when they adopt the false perception that one poll or a selection of polls recently done is going to somehow impact legislation. This is typically not what happens. In order to get any issue to gain any traction, you need polling over several years to show that this issue does not fade from public consciousness, and that the issue will remain a top priority in people's minds until substantive steps are taken to address people's concerns. This is the only way legislators act. They do not act through the whims and rash impulses of the populace.